today I am talking about Love Hurts. Oh, and welcome back to Ruben Uncut. Yeah, that's right, 2 movie reviews in a row because I've just been seeing some movies. One of my clients wanted to go see Love Hurts, so we went to see Love Hurts, and it's like, here's the thing, okay? I don't like, there's no reason to hate this movie. Love Hurts at no point is a movie that I can bring my body to hate. Part of it because it does star Ke Huy Quan, uh, you know, the guy who played Short Round slash the dad in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And he has risen to stardom, appearing in that movie, but also in season 2 of Loki and a few other things. But I don't know if Hollywood knows exactly what to do with his stardom just yet, because the first movie they put him in is called Love Hurts. And here's the deal, is that it's a movie that's somewhere between Quentin Tarantino and a Jackie Chan movie. And by that I mean that it has the action comedy sort of frenetic fight styles. It is actually, the fight scenes are very well edited for an American action cinema movie. It's either that or like, is America finally going to get good at editing fight scenes? Is that about to change? I don't know. The point is, that's the vibe. It's Jackie Chan. If Jackie Chan did a Quentin Tarantino movie and then the studio saw the Quentin Tarantino movie and chopped the shit out of it. Because what I mean by that is that there's some Quentin Tarantino-esque violence, but the movie's overall vibe is more towards the Jackie Chan. And if this sounds appealing to you, then I recommend checking it out. It's a movie where a guy with a glass boba tea straw kills people with a glass boba tea straw for laughs. The film is short and it feels short. Now, to be fair, it's almost an hour and a half. But like, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what is Love Hurts? Well, Love Hurts is a action martial arts rom-com. Yes, I put all those words together. That is essentially following the story trope of man with a past trying to hide from his past gets pulled back into his violent past, which we've seen a lot of recently. Of course, the obvious one, John Wick. But the movie I would actually compare this closest to is Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk. So the basic premise of the movie is that we meet Marv Gable, who is played by Ke Huy Quan. I'm trying. Who, of course, love him immediately. There's something that's just so instantly likable about him as an actor, and I felt it right away watching the movie. Like, I want to like this movie because he's in it, and honestly, in certain ways, his performance is kind of what carries the film. But allow me to continue. But basically, he used to be a hitman for his brother who is a gangster, and now he ran away from that life because he didn't want to kill the girl that he loved. So now he is hiding as a salesman, specifically a realtor. He sells houses and he's really good at it. In fact, he's regional manager of the year, great at it, as we find out. Now, as the movie proceeds onwards at a relatively rapid pace, we learn that the woman he's in love with, Rose, played by Ariana DeBose, is that how it's pronounced? Has decided to let the gangsters know that she is alive, but also to come after Marv and get Marv back into it, because she thinks that the real way to continue their lives is for them to, take the fight to the bad guys, so to speak. His brother, Knuckles Gable, played by Daniel Wu. Wait a minute. Both their characters' last names are Gable? He didn't change his name at all when he went Oh wait, no, that's right. There's a line in the movie that briefly establishes that the brother kind of let him go. Um, Wait, why did he do that? I don't. Are you starting to see how I'm coming to these things? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's the script is it's that kind of script. But honestly, a lot of things feel half baked, or like there were longer versions with more jokes that they narrowed down for time, or because the jokes didn't work how they hoped that they would. And the first two characters we really get to know are him and his assistant, who is cynical and hates selling houses, played by Leo Tipton. And they are sort of, but she quits her job a lot, and he always hires her back, etc., etc. He gets to his office. He's immediately attacked by a hitman called Raven, played by Mustafar Shakir, whose presence in the movie is something that I initially was like, but by the end, it really won me over. Kind of close to winning me. I'll explain my problem in a minute. And so him and Rose end up on the run from a bunch of hitmen, including a character called King, played by Marshawn Lynch, a character called Otis, played by Andre Erickson, and also there's also Sean Astin plays Marvin's boss, who gives a really nice performance. However, and this is the thing where the movie doesn't, the script feels really underbaked. And what I mean by the script feels really underbaked is that at a certain point in the movie, I realized I didn't actually feel like the characters were that super developed. And I didn't really know, and the emotional moments and beats of the film didn't really hit. Okay? Like, that's sort of the thing I'm talking about here. Like, the big thing is that there's not really any chemistry between Quan and Debbasi. Because, and I mean no disrespect to Ariana's character Rose, I think some of it was the writing, but like there's never a moment while I'm watching the movie where I wasn't kind of like, wait a minute, fuck you, Rose. So here's the thing. This is why I compare it to Nobody. Okay? The thing about the movie Nobody is that it really felt like there was a reason for Bob Odenkirk's character to get back into the violence of his past. Like the movie, like Nobody has a great like subtext on like toxic masculinity and cultures of violence. It's very good. In fact, there's a part of me that's actually very concerned they're making a sequel to it, because I don't like it would have been, I think it would have ended better if he did not go back into the life of violence. But the point is that in this movie, him getting pulled back in is all because of Rose. And to be fair, when we get to the end of the movie, it turns out that Rose has had like a master plan the whole time that none of us were ever let in on. And her character is just sort of an aggressive, aloof, kind of crazy person. And like, I mean, I guess it's fine that the character Marv is in love with Rose, but like, Rose is just a series of walking red flags who, at a certain point, like, there's a part of me that's like, wait a minute, why didn't she just turn all the evidence over to the Russians, which she does? But like, the question is, why did you have to put yourself, once you had all the evidence, why did you have to put yourself and Marvin in danger? You could have just, like, Rose gives off serious Tom Sawyer vibes, where it's like, wait a minute, you clearly didn't need to add the element of us almost dying to your plan, but you chose to. Why? And like, that's my biggest problem with the movie, is that like at a certain point it's just like, oh, this bitch is crazy. Who wrote this? Actually, wait, who did write this? Can I find that out? One of the producers is David Lech. So like that explains why the editing and action is actually good. Got 3 names on IMDb for writers. I don't recognize any of them. But like, come on, guys. Get it together. at the end of the day, that's the sort of the thing about the movie, is that the movie is very insistent on its themes of romance. That it's about people falling in love. The film clearly was meant to come out on Valentine's Day. When they saw that Captain America was coming out on that weekend, they panicked and they were like, put it out the weekend before. Because the film takes place on Valentine's Day. It is literally a Valentine's Day movie. Just for context, this is technically a Valentine's Day movie. And the other thing I didn't mention is that, like, his assistant Ashley, played by Leo Tipton, falls in love with Raven in the course of the movie. And like, while I felt like this romance worked better and was like worked better on a certain level and actually did grow on me as the movie went on, there was still never a part of me that was like, yeah, people in love. You see, what I'm saying is that the romantic part of the rom-com in the Valentine's Day movie that won't shut the fuck up about people falling in love is not very compelling or even convincing to a certain extent. There were numerous moments where I was just like, should you be with them? And I actually think I've addressed my main issues with the film. There's a part of me that still can't outright, in spite of all the problems I just mentioned, there's a part of me that can't outright hate this movie because of Quan. The man is so likable. And the action scenes are not bad. They got decent choreography, they got fun stunt work, and they got they have almost Monkey Man-esque camera moments that work really well. But it is a remarkably unmoving film. It could be funnier. It could be more romantic. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about the guy with a black belt. So one of the movie's bits that feels unnecessary at a certain point, like there was a longer cut of this movie where maybe this character had been worked in more, and then at a certain point they were like, well, I guess we don't really need all that stuff. And then at a certain point, it was just, they needed the movie to be longer, so they kept in some of his material. So throughout the film, there's a references that Marvin has a rivalry with Jeff Zaks, another realtor guy, played by Drew Scott. And what's interesting, there's several things that are interesting about this inclusion of this character. One of which, it's a martial arts movie that actively makes fun of a man for having a black belt. I mean, I understand that not everyone with a black belt is actually that qualified of a martial artist, but the way the joke is made in the film feels confusing, because it doesn't take the time to point out the fact that the character, who's clearly good at martial arts, probably also has a black belt in something. But the point is that this character, and this is interesting to me, this character, when we're introduced to him, it's just as a picture, and Quan is just talking about how that guy's always messing with him. But that isn't in the movie. In fact, the only time we meet Jeff Zaks is when he notices two armed men going into Marvin's house he's trying to sell, and then thinks to himself, I've got a black belt. I'm going to help Marvin out, and proceeds to attack these guys not very effectively, and then dies for a laugh. And it's kind of funny. It's also very obvious that maybe Deadpool has ruined our sense of humor as Americans. I don't know. But it's just another piece where it feels like they never quite got it to gel with the rest of the movie. So it's an interesting movie that somehow fails to bring all of its pieces together. Like I said, I don't hate this movie. In fact, I don't know if it's possible for me to hate this movie. I've seen worse movies. And once again, the action is, the fight scenes are pretty good. The fight scenes are pretty good. And I like Quan. I think he's just an instantly likable dude. And even some of the elements I initially didn't care for grew on me as the movie went on. Oh, the movie also has Rise Darby, the guy from Our Flag Means Death, in there, who kind of just disappears at a certain point from the movie. Like, it's not important. It's not important. It's not important. The point is that the movie kind of reminds me of Boy Kills World in a certain way, where like I like the cast. It's got great fight scenes. But like one of the key elements of the film that the film is almost insistent upon is just completely underbaked. And in this movie, it's the romance. It's half cooked, and that's a problem because it's being given to you as a romance. And the same thing sort of happened with Boy Kills World, where like it's like, oh, it's a dystopian future martial arts movie, but the dystopian future kind of just felt like whatever. So yeah, can I recommend this film to you? Only if you're a really big Quan fan. If you're a really big Quan fan, then yeah, sure, check it out. If you like to see people do martial arts on each other and have lots of choreographed fight scenes, then yeah, check it out. If you're looking for a movie that is good and delivers on its romantic comedy claims, then you would be better off watching something else. Well, I guess that's my review for Love Hurts. Not a long one, but hey, it's here. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, ring that bell, leave a comment. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful whatever, wherever, whoever you are.